You know, obviously, guys have a synergy and an energy about them this week. They know what they're playing for, implications of this game, and what this game's all about. I know our guys are excited, and they know we got a big challenge ahead of us. Question.
Their running game is a little bit supplementary, but can you just talk about the freshman running back? You know, went to
Yeah,
school with Trey and all
he went
that?
to school with Trey. I think they're going to be a special back. I mean, really does a great job. Runs a screen extremely well. A slasher, a guy that really is and tough, man. I mean, a guy that's very physical, tough runner. So he's been very productive for him, and a guy that's going to be a great back for him in the future.
Defensively, they do that 3-3 thing. Now, when you were there, was that?
We installed it in 2002.
Right, so you kind of have an idea of
pretty good idea
what to do and how to attack it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, obviously, football's about blocking and tackling and fundamentals, and our familiarity. I mean, obviously, does that help? Well, it doesn't hurt, but it's still going to boil down to what coaches are getting out of their guys every day, and I got a lot of respect for Coach Castile, and worked with him, and one of the best coaches I've been around defensively. And so the thing that in this game is about being disciplined, to play your technique, to play your fundamentals, and do it with a different level of passion. I mean, that's what you got to bring in this game. It's not going to be easy. You're going to face adversity. It's going to be tough. And so the team that is the most disciplined and makes the least amount of mistakes and plays with a passion and toughness is going to win. The team that dominates the other one physically usually wins this game.
Is that something you got to hammer home a little bit more this week because it's a rivalry game?
Boy, if you have to hammer it home this week, something's wrong with you. I haven't felt that from our guys at all. Obviously, we have a definitive plan every week, and we know what we have. Obviously, we know the challenges that their quarterback and their receiving core with Austin and Bailey, I think, are obviously two of the best in the Big East and probably two of the best in the country. Return-wise, I mean, we got to do a great job covering kickoffs. We got to do a great job covering punts, because I think there's not a better kickoff returner in the country. If there is, I'd like to see it. I mean, he's pretty special. So, explosive plays, turnover margin. That's what we've emphasized.
What the 3-3-5? What are they trying to do with that? I mean, what's the?
Obviously, it's an odd front. The nature of it is unorthodox. The bottom line, they want to stop the run. They want to load the box and stop the run, and actually popping, moving people, pressure, attack oriented. Is what that scheme's all about, and it's just different. You just don't. It's an odd front, and you got three backers stacked behind it. You just don't face it. So when you're drawing on the board, you're always drawing 4 3s or 3 4s up there. You just don't draw that up. So just the nature of it makes it unorthodox, and the whole idea is you get 8 second-level guys that can run. It's all about speed and getting people the football. So, obviously it's one of the reasons when you play a 3 down front, even though we're really have moved away from that. I mean, we play really with 4 down people most of the time. I mean, so we're a multiple front, but more of a 4-man pass rush team, and so we're a little bit different now than we were then. But that's the whole premise of it, is getting an extra, is taking a D lineman off and putting an extra outside linebacker speed guy on the field. And so naturally that helps you in pressuring, helps you in running the football, and obviously it's tough to throw, and it takes a lot of throwing angles away with 8 second-level guys.
How come you didn't install that here, that system?
Well, because I heard Coach Patterson, and he's installing it. Well, to be real honest with you, that we ran that at Tulsa. We were running the 3-3-5 when I went there. We still run a form of that D. We still run three down people. The deal is kind of like just being adaptive. We had some really good defensive linemen, a whole bunch of good defensive tackles. So why take those guys off the field? I like having Miles and Chaz and Donald. I mean, I think Chaz is one of the, I mean, you play here, Donald and Chaz. I mean, I think Chaz is really underrated. I mean, he's going to be a guy that's going to, I think, really do some great things in his future playing football. So, it was the whole idea was we felt like we had two really quality tackles, and so we stayed more with the 4 down people, and even though we stand him up some, you'll see Lindsey standing up. He was playing the end. Now we've kind of moved him back to the Panther. We'll move him back to end and put Juan in there, and so we mix that stuff up. So it's really the reason why we didn't install that exact front, because it just didn't really fit the personnel that we have here. And I'll be real honest with you, we had kind of moved away from that at Tulsa because we were getting better defensive linemen. If that makes sense.
Coach McGee knows that defense pretty well then, since he was.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we know the 4-3 pretty well. I mean, because we play against it every week. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we've got familiarity with it. But there's, you know, I mean, it's still about execution. It's still about play. College football is about matchups. You can put the guys wherever you want to put them. It's still about getting guys blocked and executing.
Can you reflect a little bit on your time in West Virginia? You know, how you like being there, living there? It's awfully different than Dallas.
You know, I don't really, you know, I mean, it's been a long time since then. You know, obviously, good people. You know, I'm Don Nealon, you know, Donnie Young. You know, met a lot of good people there. Eddie Passalong was a great guy. You know, I met a lot of good people, and it was, you know, I was there a very brief time. But you know, I don't have a whole bunch of recollection because I wasn't there very long.
For your defense, obviously the secondary is going to have its hands full with all those receivers. But what about your linebackers? I mean, is this as big a challenge for them? Just with
It
all
is.
the underneath. And
It is.
crossing?
I mean, you got to their big passes are is catching the ball and running with it. You know, unders and screens and things like that. So we got to make a lot of. I mean, guys got to be. You got to be making plays in space, and we got to make sure you know we're you know mixing things up.
In your experience, as you were talking, going back to the 3-3-5, have you felt on both sides of the ball, did that kind of derive as a way of defending the spread, the way the spread
Yeah,
of all offense
I
kind
mean,
of
it derived out of the deal of being unique, and really, if you take what we do on defense here is unique. There's not really anybody that goes in and out of, you know, we're basically, you know, a 3-4-4-3. We're in it, we're multiple in what we're doing, and a lot of the coverage schemes and things that we do, and the fact that we pressure the way we do is unique. And that it was all about being unique. Is that, you know, it was something that you know, if you know, trying to set yourself apart from everybody else, and that makes it difficult. It's kind of like the no huddle. Is when you come out and you run a no huddle. That's hard to prepare for in 3 days. Well, when you're running a 3-3-5, yeah, I can have all the knowledge in the world about it, but you know, you only have so many days to get ready to play it. And obviously, all the blitzes, all your protection rules are changed. Does that make sense? Just by the fact that you line up that way, or just by the fact that you don't huddle. And it's all about you being unique and the uniqueness of it and how it fits your personnel. I mean, your schemes have to fit your personnel. You know what I mean? So, you know. And then there's you know, there's strengths and weaknesses to every, you know, front that you're in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I guess the whole deal is that, you know, is just, you know, being unique, being dynamic, being different is something that we've always tried to pride ourselves in. It makes it a little tougher to teach because, you know, executing and fundamentals and things like that, you have to learn, the coaches have to learn. Whereas if you're just running a traditional offense or a traditional defense, and then it's more, you know, it's a little bit easier to teach and it's a little simpler, and you know, but that's kind of not been the track that we've taken.
You mentioned needing to do a good job against Boston in the return game. Does that just come down to lane integrity, not getting out of your lanes? Because
I think it's 90% just passion, man. You better get down there and you better not get blocked. You better have a will to, you know, to its speed. You know, kickoff cover is about speed. It's a 40-yard sprint. And, you know, you better make sure that we're, you know, identifying the return and not getting blocked, not blocking blockers and getting off and making plays. Keeping them contained, fundamentals.
Is your Lucas meter going up this week?
Yeah, I think he'll play. But, you know, if I'm wrong, then don't say I didn't tell you the truth. But I thought, yeah, I really think he'll play. That's what I think.
Do you worry about losing any assistants to Arizona?
No, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, our focus right now is beating West Virginia and winning right now. I mean, the next 2 games and what's straight in front of us. I mean, you know, obviously, you hire good people, and sometimes you have people come after them, and I want what's best for our coaches and our families. But you know, I don't, you know, that's not something that I'm spending time worrying about.
After the season, you'd worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, after the season, you know, that's always been, that's part of the business. I can tell you this, though. I mean, what I'm trying to do is, obviously, we're a family type atmosphere. We do, we really pride ourselves in how we take care of our staff and the commitment that we make to them. as well as their working environment, the family atmosphere, and how we're developing them mentally, physically, and spiritually, I think we got a great place to work. So that's all we concern ourselves with. You can't worry about things you can't control, and so